You know, versatility is an important factor to take into consideration when you go to purchase your next scent. Is this fragrance going to be something that you can wear often and get your money's worth out of it? Or is it going to be one that's so hard to pull off that it just sits there on your shelf and collects dust and you eventually end up forgetting about it? Some people are a little bit more adventurous with their fragrances than others. Some people want to stand out and make a statement with their scents, and other people just want to smell good, maybe blend in a little bit more, but still get some positive feedback here and there, and ultimately have a fragrance that they could wear any time of the year for any situation, and really have it be a simple, no-brainer process. And that's what we have here today. 10 fragrances that are ultimately very versatile, but with a twist. You're probably not wearing a lot of these. So there's no Bleu de Chanel and Sauvage and Acqua de Joe of any kind or anything else that might immediately pop into your head when you think of a versatile scent. Instead, I want to shine the light on some fragrances that don't get talked about as much but are still really good. And actually, now that I look at this list here, a lot of these trend in the more affordable direction. Got a couple that might get up there around $80 or so, but a lot of these are anywhere from $30 to $50, somewhere around in there. So pretty nice, affordable options here for you. Links will be down below. Those prices are only going to be those prices at discounters, and I'm also posting deals on my community tab every day, doing giveaways over there every month as well. So you got to make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on those. Let's get it kicked off with Ferragamo UOMO Casual Life. You hear me talk a lot about UOMO and UOMO Signature. Amazing scents. Not a whole lot of versatility to those though. If you were to wear those in the summertime or to wear them to a super dressed up important event, it might not be as fitting. But this one can be worn for pretty much any time of the year. It has violet leaf, lemon, musk, a little bit of a coffee accord in here as well, kind of tying back to the original / signature. Ultimately, it's just very fresh, very inoffensive, easy to pull off. It's clean, bright, but with a little bit of a twist, and it's super, super mass-pleasing. It's really likable. I mean, just about any person would smell this and think that it at least smells nice and pleasant. Now, this next one is a scent that's grown on me a lot. I first got it in, I thought it was cool, I thought it was pleasant, but each time I smell it, I like it more. This has actually been sitting for a while. More so recently, I've been picking it up and kind of spraying it on here and there and just trying it out again. And I've come to like it a lot more than I initially did. It's one of those things where we might think that the scent itself has changed due to maceration or whatever it is, but I think a lot of the times it's just our nose changing. And I've come to appreciate this one more for what it is. From Tommy Hilfiger, it's the impact, just the original impact is what I meant to say. Now, this one is pretty vague with their note breakdown. Citruses and woods are kind of two of the main ones, and they don't go into detail there. There's a little bit of a sweetness to this one, so perhaps like a sandalwood accord, some sweet citrus up top, maybe even some fruits like apple, orange, that sort of thing. So it's kind of how it comes across. But ultimately, very, very wearable, very versatile, and a big compliment puller. One thing that's cool about this one is, if I don't completely drop it, it's kind of hard to show it on camera and do everything at the same time, but you have a built-in travel atomizer in your cap. So there you go, right? Pretty cool. It's a cool little gimmick that most people probably have no need for, but it's still neat. Ultimately, this one gets not a whole lot of talk, mainly because this designer brand in general, in terms of fragrances, doesn't get a whole lot of talk because a lot of them can be a little bit cheap and kind of uninspired. But this one's actually one of the better offerings, and so is Impact Intense, although this one is more versatile. Narciso Rodriguez Bleu Noir Eau de Toilette Extreme. Now, you could pick really any of them. You know, you could pick the regular EDT, you could pick the Eau de Parfum. The new Parfum, maybe not as versatile as some of the others, obviously. However, that compared to some of the other big iris fragrances, it would be more versatile. So just about any from the brand, even the discontinued ones, just Narciso Rodriguez, Eau de Toilette, and Eau de Parfum, those are very versatile as well. Although, again, you just can't really get those as easily. But this one happens to be the most light, the most fresh. It has musk, citruses, basil, and ice in here. There's some woods as well. Very, very crisp, very refreshing, bright, easy to wear. And this one in particular has a little bit more of kind of a mature and upscale smell to it, a little bit more of a grown-up smell to it compared to your more typical, traditional, citrusy, aromatic style of scent. You know, this one has a little bit more going on for it, but still maintains a very versatile kind of workhorse here. Let's keep it moving with YSL L'Homme Le Parfum. This one was very quick to get shunned and swept under the rug when it came out. And personally, I think it's actually pretty solid for what you get. You know, it's not their best offering. It's nothing that's going to completely blow you away, but it is very pleasant and very versatile. This one has ozonic notes, geranium, and amberwood in here. So the way I describe this one is you're getting bits and pieces of the original L'Homme, the gentlemanly, masculine, woody scent, right? Smells fantastic. Love the original L'Homme, and you guys know that. But with a modern twist being that of the amberwood to almost give this a little bit of a YSL Y smell. So kind of combining two heavy hitters from YSL. You have Y, maybe more so EDT, the freshness mixed with some of the woods and the sweetness of the original L'Homme. And then you kind of get this. So for me, as someone who likes both of those fragrances, this is a hit. I really am a big fan of this one. And sure, there are some other nuances that are a bit different as well to make it stand out. But if you wanted to break it down, that's kind of how you could describe it. If you can get this one for a good price online, anything basically below retail, I think it's worth picking up for versatility and compliments. Next up, something a little bit newer from the brand of Valentino. This one is UOMO, Born in Roma, Coral Fantasy. So I really like the look of the bottle. Nice kind of pink gradient down there towards the bottom. This one has apple, tobacco leaf, and cardamom is some of the main notes. So a leafy tobacco, nothing too strong or sweet. It's going to be more summertime leaning. Has some apple in here, nice sweet fruitiness. And then cardamom, a little bit to give it some spices, and cardamom a little bit to give it kind of a spicy, sweet, and almost gourmand smell in here. Really, really quite nice. The Born in Roma line kind of goes off track for a lot of people, myself included. The original Born in Roma, I do enjoy because it's kind of Invictus Aqua themed. Born in Roma Yellow Dream, still haven't fully come around to that one yet, but this one actually impressed me a lot. Like, I think this one is actually pretty solid. Sure, it's not as good as UOMO or UOMO Intense, or even UOMO Aqua for that matter, although I guess it could be close to that one, but I do really like it. I think it's very versatile, something a little bit different for you, and just easy to wear. Nice compliments, all of that good stuff. Going back to a cheapie here with FERRAGAMO ACQUA ESSENZIALE BLEU. So I'll tell you, FERRAGAMO, the brand, really pumps out a lot of great cheapies. This whole line in general is a great line to have around. For around 30 bucks a piece you can get these for. So this one has lavender, tonka bean, and of course ambroxan. This is their take on a blue fragrance. They had to jump in on it. This is actually a really good one. There's a cypriol in here as well, so it has a really cool texture to it. This one was done by Alberto Marias. It doesn't smell to me like Sauvage or Atlantique or anything like that per se, but again, blue fragrance is definitely going to be in that camp and has bits and pieces of a lot of the big blue fragrances, but just not enough of one in particular to make it a clone of any of them, if that makes sense. So if you're on a budget, you want compliments and mass appeal and versatility for, again, around $30, maybe $35, which makes this one of the most affordable blue fragrances in production right now. It's a nice one to have. Big fan of this line as well. It's another line that can be had for a pretty decent amount of money on discounters and is actually kind of underrated. From Lacoste, it is L'Homme Timeless. So I love the original. You guys have probably heard me talk about that. The intense version in the matte black bottle is great, but Timeless also doesn't get a whole lot of talk, and it's really good. It's got rhubarb, tea, cedarwood, and musk in here. So this one still hangs on to that original DNA with the rhubarb and kind of the orange sweetness up top. It smells really, really pleasant. Great for springtime, but the tea in here sets this one apart, and a little bit more musk comes forward. So still very wearable. A little bit more fresh overall compared to the original and the intense, thus making it to me a little bit more versatile and even a little bit more mass pleasing because it doesn't have any of that creamy orange sweetness mixing with the rhubarb to as heavy of an extent as the original and the intense. So if you can handle a little bit of a tea accord here, and it's really subdued and easy to pull off, this would be a nice one to have for the price. I think it's around $50 on discounters, a little bit more expensive than maybe some of the others, but it's worth it. You know, this brand right here is kind of the king of versatility, at least with their fresh ones, I suppose. It's Issey-Miyake Low Dissi Pour Homme Intense. So I just looked on discounters, and I believe this is going for, it's 125 milliliters for, it was either $30, like $29 or $30, I think is what it was, which shocked me because typically a lot of these, even some of the fresher ones, are still going for $35, $39, $40. Some of the sweeter, heavier ones, $50, $60, upwards of $90, right? This brand is really all over the place and it's all the same line, same bottle. But again, I think I saw $29 or $30 for 125 ml. So that's a really, really good price for this, only if the scent is good. And in this case, it happens to be really good. So this one here has incense, yuzu, and papyrus. It's just a few of the main notes. So it's kind of pulling back to that original DNA, but the incense is more forward here. Still getting that bright yuzu, which is very typical of the line. A little bit more smoky, a little bit more depth to it, a little bit more punch, and also surprisingly solid performance. And I mean, you get that incense right off the top. I could smell it there immediately. Really stands out, and it really gives it a unique twist. Dry and smoky incense, almost like a cedar wood spiciness as well. Really, really cool stuff, guys. And again, like I was getting back to, great performance as well. Definitely above average for fragrances in this category, and especially in this price range. Very versatile, masculine, a little bit more traditional, and you just don't hear it talked about. Let's keep it moving with Jimmy Choo Man Ice. So this one is pretty much known as a Dior Homme cologne for a fraction of the price. DHC is, even on discounters, depending on the bottle size, 80, 90, 100 bucks. This one is what, 30, somewhere around in there, 30, 35 on discounters. Testers, I do actually come with a cap. I was going to say they don't, but then I remembered mine is a tester. So there's your presentation, very nice and crisp. And on the back, you've got your sticker that does give you the note breakdown. And I don't know if you can see it, but right there says tester. So could save a little bit more money off the full presentation. The only difference is going to be that you've got a sticker on the back that you can remove, and you get a nice cap, which is always the way to go for me. So it has that Dior Homme cologne smell, basically the bergamot, the musk, the orange blossom, that sort of thing. Smells very, very pleasant. This one in particular, nice pressurized atomizer, by the way, has a little bit more sweetness, actually, some more woods in here. There's significantly more notes given to us in this compared to the Dior, but ultimately 90% the same as the Dior. I don't like putting numbers on things, but if I had to give it one, probably 90. It's not quite as bright and crisp. I don't expect it to be for the price point. This is well worth it and super versatile. I mean, I don't think you're going to find anyone that thinks this smells horrid. And last up, another one that got immediately swept under the rug when it came out, Calvin Klein Defy. So this one, it's funny to watch because, you know, it immediately gets compared to YSL EDP. And this is from people who either haven't actually smelled it and they're just parroting what other people say because they want to hate on Calvin Klein, which to some extent, Calvin Klein does warrant and attract the hate. So it makes sense there. But when you actually try this one on skin and you get it into the dry down, there's so much vetiver. So it's a real nice soapy vetiver in the dry down. Off the top, there are some resemblance to YEDP, blue fragrance and style, but last time I checked, there's no vetiver in YEDP. Nothing that I pick up on any, and for that matter, none of the Y fragrances have any sort of prominent vetiver, but this one does. Almost to the point where they could have probably named this a vetiver scent, you know, Calvin Klein Defy Vetiver, I don't know. Because in that dry down on skin, it's there and it's prominent. It really gives it a more actually mature smell, a little bit more refined, very clean, and again, to use the word soapy. So this is very easy to pull off, very modern, and it's one that even if, you know, fragrance enthusiasts don't like it, even if you yourself are not crazy about it, it doesn't blow you away, people around you are going to go nuts for this stuff. Really nice. Prices are coming down on discounters. There's 200 ml bottles available on FragranceNet for like 60 bucks, which is about the same price as like the 100 ml or something like that, which is kind of weird. So yeah, I mean, you can get this stuff for a really good deal. That comes out to about 30 bucks for 100 ml, which is super solid at that price. Hey guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 ultimately very versatile fragrances that you probably are not wearing. And if you're not, these are worth checking out and picking up, especially at the price points here. You can get these for really competitive prices and you could spray them heavily, you can wear them often, and you're not going to be blowing a bunch of money like you would if you were wearing fragrances heavily that are double this price or more. Links will be down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.